Out in the woods. Is that Jason? Is that Freddy? Nope. Sounds like a chainsaw. It's clearly Leatherface. Why'd you ask those questions? Don't interrupt me! What's going on, super friends? Here I am to talk about the next character of the 4 in the Combat Pack 2 of my Combat Pack 2 review. Because I told you guys I would be talking about the characters as soon as I got a chance to play with them and pick them up and get a feel for them. And I have. And I talked about Borracho in the first video I did. Then I talked about Alien in the second. And now this would be video number Trace. Talking about Leatherface. Oh, wasn't ready for that. You was not expecting it. You probably were. Because you're like, you do these stupid rhymes a lot. Shut up. I'll do what I want. You don't like it? Go to someone else's channel who doesn't rhyme ever. Ever. Go to Justin Bieber's channel. He can't get a decent rhyme to save his life. I said it. Anyway, this is the way the breakdown goes. I'm going to be talking about each variation. My least favorite, my next, then my top favorite variation. Leatherface was hard to do. Leatherface is... Oh, gosh. Sorry. I dropped you. Forgive me. I'm sorry. No, but Leatherface was hard to decide on. It was hard, and that's what makes me happy. It was hard to decide which of his two I mean, the first one was sort of easy to put off, but the two variations that I'm arguing between, you'll see in a minute. But I'll go ahead and talk about the first one. But the fact that the two variations I'm arguing with is what makes this character great. The first variation I'll talk about is Pretty Lady. In Pretty Lady, in all his variations, he gets a unique costume. The unique costume for this one is what everybody calls his dining outfit. His outfit that he uses to feel fancy about himself. It's a suit, and it's a suit and tie, a blue suit with his mask, of course, but this one's got the makeup on it with the girly hair and the whole 9 yards. This variation, I'm calling it the zoning variation of Leatherface because he throws chainsaws. I'm gonna say that again. Leatherface throws with reckless abandon chainsaws. He can throw them up, he can throw them straight, and he can throw them on the floor. I'm glad Leatherface never did that in the movies. No. 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 Nope. Not happening. Nope. Don't throw no chainsaws. Not cool. For this variation of Leatherface, I'm gonna have to go with a 6. And the reason I'm going with a 6 is because, for me, it's not fun. Yeah, he's mad at me over there.
What?
I can tell even with the mask on, he's mad at me over there. Like, I can just feel it in his aura. The reason it's a 6 is because I give low scores to things that it's not fun for me to play, and it's not fun for me to play against. And that's the way that it is with this one. If you want to do your own review of the character and give it a higher score, go for it. I don't care. I'll watch it and I'll thumbs up the video and leave a comment agreeing to disagree. However, it gets a 6. I'll even give it a 6.5 for uniqueness. But it's not going to get higher than that because, I mean, it's just not fun to play and just not fun to play against because there's not a lot to it. It's just I can't get the chainsaw throw combos down. I've yet to beat a Pretty Lady except once online, and that was because the guy on the other end had no idea what he was doing. They had no idea what they were doing, and it was easy to beat. Like, Pretty Lady is my weakness. I can't figure out a way around it. At least not with the characters that I use. Anyway, that's that. it gets a 6.5. Now, this is how I'm really having a struggle with this one. But the next variation I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about the killer stance. Now, this one was hard. Don't think I'm talking about this next because, oh, you like the Butcher one so much better. This was a really close game. The killer variation gets a killer stance. It gets a revving the chainsaw, like you rev the chainsaw and you hold it there and you can press square, triangle, or circle, and each one of those does a unique move. Triangle does like an overhead wave type of thing. Circle does an up, down, pull that'll cut down the body, and square does a charging chainsaw into the gut. And it's really, really interesting. It's really interesting to see. This also gets, I believe it's in Pretty Lady 2, it gets a spinning blade, circle blade, like a spinning rotation thing. It's really interesting. The costume for this is your typical Leatherface, your flannel shirt, which it can be altered to be red, and and of course you got the apron, and then you have the Leatherface, the what you picture when you think of Leatherface. For this variation score, I give an 8.5 because wow, this is fun to use. There's just so, you know what? No, I'm not even gonna bump it up. It's gonna get a 9, and it's gonna tie with Butcher's score. Just spoiler alert: Butcher gets a 9 too. Now, the reason this one's second is because what makes Butcher for me, and I'll go ahead and talk about Butcher now. So, good job, Killer from NetherRealm Studios. D. Kurtzik, if you're watching this, good job, all that. But Butcher for me is incredible because of one aspect and one aspect only. Out of nowhere. You can pull the mallet bop out of nowhere. The pop bop is what everybody calls the bop. The pop bop. The jump bop thing. It's really just like you down, back, forward, square. You grab the opponent and you just bang with the mallet that's in your X-ray. You just dink, just right on the head, just insultingly, just ding, right on the head. It's a really interesting idea. It's a really interesting costume because the variation specific outfit for this one, if I'm understanding correctly, is from a Leatherface movie that only appeared in Europe, Germany, I think. It's a really dark, gritty mask with just stitches up here where hair should be, and oh, it's really nice. It's really nice. Now, this one also gets Bloodbath, which is a chainsaw to the gut that holds you up off the ground, and if you EX it, he can grab you and pull you down onto the chainsaw, and that's just nasty looking. But really, it was a close call for this being my favorite variation, but it is. Like if they'd have put the Killer stuff in the Butcher variation, I'd have never picked up Killer ever. It's really interesting. Now, my thoughts of the character overall. The character overall scores a 9 because Leatherface is just fun in the sun to play. Incredible. It's amazing. What they did with Chainsaw Massacre, what they did with Leatherface, I thought they were just going to do Jason all over again. I really did. If any of you watched my reactions to Chainsaw Massacre being announced, all that stuff, you realize I am firmly disappointed. I was firmly disappointed with what they did. I'm like, it's just going to be Jason with a chainsaw. But it's not. It's so much better. It's so much cool. Like, I like Jason as a movie character more I like Leatherface as a game character more because Leatherface can do so much more than Jason can do. Leatherface can do so much more than Jason can do. It's just unfair. Now, his interactions are great because he doesn't talk. He makes sounds that switch between grown man and young girl. Those are the two you get. You get or like, I'm not even making that up. That's a noise that Leatherface makes. It's great. His interactions with all the characters are great. Reptile says something along the lines of a sword with a moving blade, and Baraicho comes at him with, your weapon is loud and useless, which makes me think that all the characters in the Mortal Kombat universe have never seen a chainsaw before. And I'm just, you got Cyrax, a dude with a buzzsaw in his chest. It's clearly the same thing. I guess Zatarans have never seen a chainsaw, and just Baraicho just doesn't want to acknowledge the... And even Triborg, who has a robot that uses a buzzsaw, is interesting choice of weapon. It's a chainsaw. It's not a lightsaber. It's not a speed cannon. It's a chainsaw. I don't get it, but it makes for some cool dialogue. I think the only person that calls him Leatherface is Shinnok, I think. Very few people call him Leatherface. It's normally like monster, demon, mongrel, those kind of things. He gets insulting nicknames. He doesn't get called Leatherface except for like one or two characters. So, overall, Leatherface, fun to use. And I know these are sort of speedy reviews. That's because I got like technically 8 characters to talk about, or 7 characters to talk about, and not a lot of time. 7. Shut up. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Don't you? You do. So, this has been... Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sick as I record this. This has been my review of Leatherface. Leatherface gets a 9 because he is fun to play, fun to pick up. And for those of you who want me to talk about Triborg, that'll be my next video, so tune in for that. And yeah, I changed jackets, by the way. Whoop, whoop. Alright, guys! You guys have been super friends. Thanks again for visiting the Fortress of Brotude with your friend, SuperDude. And until next video, up, and away.